This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 in the middle of the road from farm to table, a detour into white supremacy. Coming up, a look at the battle that is bringing a temporary end to a farmer's market.
Check your accounts closely. Another big data breach, and this one may be the biggest ever. We'll show you exactly who is impacted.
Your kids have to go back to school, and state police want to remind you have to be safe getting them there. We have some tips on safety, plus we'll also look at how much you're spending to get your kids back in the classroom. But first, it is 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, meteorologist Todd Clausen here. We had a little bit of rainfall this morning. I know when I was driving into work, and some other people across central Indiana might be seeing some as they wake up. But the good news is once we get going into the day, it'll be gone.
Yeah, you know, today's one of those days where we have that tropical-like feel. The humidity's around. There's a still front lingering. So there will be the chance of some isolated downpours here throughout the course of not only this morning, but even this afternoon. We'll start to have some isolated downpours, I think, flare up because things are just a little bit unsettled here across the area. But this morning, by far the heaviest rain is this cluster right now, just pushing into the Richmond area, exiting Cambridge City, and Connorsville seeing the rain come to an end. But in between Connorsville, Cambridge City, and Richmond, some very, very heavy rainfall. And this will eventually push towards Richmond and Liberty with some lightning as well. Nothing severe, but certainly we're going to have some heavy rain and a little bit of localized ponding on the roadways. Behind that, not a whole lot going on right now, but as the sun comes up, that will add some instability to the atmosphere, and that is going to result in us probably maintaining some storm chances off and on throughout the day today with these isolated downpours. We're in the 60s and 70s right now. We got up into the low to mid 80s this afternoon, again with a chance of a few spotty downpours and rather muggy conditions from start to finish throughout the day today.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at our traffic now. Matt, planning out your commute, we have some closures you need to know about. A reminder for you, I-70 closed in both directions between the South Split downtown and I-465 on the west side. Use I-465 and I-65 to get around that closure. We also have ramp work closing the ramp here northbound I-465 to westbound I-865, so use caution in that area. And then we'll take a look here at this closure here, eastbound US 36 between State Road 234 and State Road 9. We told you about that yesterday. Just a reminder that that area is closed as well. Let's take you back to the northwest side. A live look at that construction project on the ramp there in the dogleg. The good news, though, you may remember that I-65 southbound closure that reopened yesterday morning, so that area is back open. Just use caution here traveling on the northwest side. Well, it would seem like an unlikely place for a battle over race, but right now it's playing out at the farmers market down in Bloomington.
The weekend staple in the college town is shutting down for the next 2 weeks, and it's all because of the controversy over the owners of a farm that sells at the market. For the past few weeks, protesters have been targeting Schooner Creek Farms. It's one of many local farms that sell fruits, vegetables, and other products at the farmers market each weekend. But this month, a report in the Daily Beast showed that Sarah Dye, one of the owners of the farm, was posting in online chat rooms of the white supremacy group Identity Europa. The Daily Beast obtained leaked chat logs outing Dye and Schooner Creek co-owner Douglas Mackey as members of the group.
Protesters have organized flyer campaigns at the Bloomington Farmers Market since the news of the Schooner Creek owners broke out, urging people to not support them. They've also tried to get the city to remove the farm. So far, the city has refused, citing First Amendment grounds. The past weekend, a young woman was arrested for trespassing when she refused to move her sign from in front of the Schooner Creek table. Her arrest came even though members of a white nationalist group that calls themselves the Three Percenters were allowed to stand at the farmer's booth in support of Schooner Creek. Now, Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton says the farmers market will be closed this weekend and the following weekend. He says it's because police identified increasing threats to public safety. So far, the owners of Schooner Creek Farms have refused to speak to reporters since the chat room posts became public. Now, we have much more on this developing story right now. Our digital reporter, Shakira Harris, digs into everything that's happening down in Bloomington. You can read that full report right now on the RTV6 app and also at theindychannel.com.
It's one of the biggest data breaches of all time. Capital One says a hacker gained access to more than 100 million customer accounts and credit card applications applications earlier this year. The company claims no credit card account numbers or login credentials were compromised. Capital One says it fixed the vulnerability exploited in the breach. The company also says it's unlikely the data was used for fraud, but it is still investigating. It will also notify you if you are impacted by the breach and provide free credit monitoring and identity protection. The Justice Department says 33-year-old Paige Thompson, a former tech company software engineer, was arrested in connection with that breach. It is 5:05 and we want to know, are you and your kids ready to go back to school? Well, it may have snuck up on you, but it is that time again.
Yeah, and we want your kids to get there safely, and so do State Police. So our Erin Lish joining us in the studio today with some important reminders on what to do, what not to do. Erin, good morning.
Good morning. So we know the very first day of school, it can be pretty hectic for the students as well as you, the parents, getting everybody ready to go and in the car and, of course, to school on time. But remember, don't rush yourself when you're driving. State Police are always saying, watch out for those buses when they put those stop arms out, because that means they are picking up and dropping off students, and you must stop. If you pass against, that is against the law. Not only could you be fined, but you could go to jail. So pay attention, be patient behind them. State Police are also saying keep an eye out for school zone signs. Make sure that you are slowing down with those reduced speed limits, and never pass other cars while in a school zone. You have a lot of kids walking around trying to get across the street. Keep an eye out for those crossing guards as well, who are trying to keep your students safe. And another big thing is put your cell phone down. Stay cautious in these school zones. Those kids might not be paying attention out there. And for those kids that are walking to school, we have a few safety tips we'll share in the next half hour. But as students head back, that means you are having to shell out money to get them prepared. Our Alyssa Donovan is live. Alyssa, people are spending the highest amount on record for back-to-school shopping this year.
That's right, Erin. So the average household with students that are K through 12 is going to spend almost $700 on back-to-school shopping this year. And that's up despite many parents waiting for the best sales to start buying those items. Now, most of the spending is on school supplies, followed by clothing and accessories, shoes, and electronics. Families with college students are also spending more this year. On average, $976 per household. That's $34 more than last year. College shoppers plan to spend the most on electronics, followed by clothing and accessories, dorm and apartment furniture, and finally, food. While K through 12 families plan to do much of their shopping at department stores and discount stores, college shoppers plan to do most of their shopping online. And coming up at 5:30, I'll have some tips for you if you haven't done your back-to-school shopping yet on ways you can save on some of those costs. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for that report. IPS students go back to school in 1 week, and when school starts, thousands of students may be riding the city bus under an expanded pilot program. Indigo passes will allow students to ride the city bus to and from school, also to jobs or even extracurricular activities. Officials say the program will save the district money on transportation.
Indianapolis Public Schools is holding its third annual Back to School Festival for students this weekend. It goes from 10 to 3 this Saturday at the Indiana History Center on Ohio Street. Families can score free backpacks, free school supplies, and free food. And district workers will be there to help answer questions about enrollment, special needs services, transportation, and more. And Todd, for those kids that are heading out to the bus stop this morning, they might need to grab a rain jacket.
Yeah, especially if they're in the Richmond area, Wayne County, down into portions of the Connorsville area. You have a pretty good heavy downpour moving through, but honestly, I don't think the kids probably go to the bus stop for at least another hour or so, and most of this should probably be off to the east at that point. But we'll give you a little bit of a closer look because some heavy rainfall just now getting ready to enter downtown Richmond there, and also into Liberty. Some heavy rain with a little bit of lightning as well. The storm is not severe, but it could cause a little bit of ponding, especially on Interstate 70, so be aware of that. But it's going to push into Ohio pretty quickly. So with the exception of that one storm right now, there's not a whole lot going on. So as you get going, the kids head off to school, you head off to work. Mostly cloudy skies, temperatures that are currently in the 60s, highs today with mostly cloudy skies. We'll get into the mid 80s. Still some humidity around, so it's going to feel a little bit warmer than that. But once we get past today, rain chances chances come out of the forecast. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Police now learning more about the latest mass shooting. Next on Good Morning Indiana, how a book popular with white supremacists may have played a role.
And no team wanted to draft her out of college, but now we have a feeling the WNBA is paying more attention to this Hoosier transplant now that she can call herself an MVP.
Time now is 5:10. Let's take a live look at construction on the northwest side. We do have ramp work going on northbound I-465 to westbound I-865. Take it slow as you travel through the dogleg this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays around the metro area and central Indiana. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:13 on your Tuesday, and here's a look at the crews working along Interstate 70. This is at Sam Jones Expressway. A reminder, I-70 is closed in both directions. That's why you don't see any cars moving past this construction project. Take I-465 along the south side and I-65 south of downtown to reroute. Well, today, police out in California are expected to return to the home of the man who was killed after opening fire on a food festival.
Police identified the shooter as 19-year-old Santino William Ligon. He killed 3 people, including a 6-year-old boy, Stephen Romero. Before the shooting, in an Instagram post that has since been deleted, the shooter urged people to read a book that is popular with white supremacists. But as of now, police are still looking into the shooter's background, getting a warrant last night to search his father's home.
I've located the suspect vehicle that was used to drive out near the festival. We have obtained a search warrant for that vehicle.
Gilroy police have still not confirmed some witness accounts that someone may have been helping that shooter.
President Trump continues to defend his tweets from the weekend aimed at the city of Baltimore that some critics are calling racist. The president took aim at Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings after the congressman criticized what he called filthy conditions at migrant detention centers. Trump referred to the city as infested. It's a term that he's used on multiple occasions to describe cities or other areas where a majority of the population are people of color. His acting chief of staff was asked to explain the tweets along with the president's previous criticism of 4 women of color who are also in Congress.
Infested. It sounds like vermin. It sounds subhuman. And these are all 6 members of Congress who are people of color.
I think you're spending way too much time reading between the lines.
I'm not reading between the lines. I'm reading the lines.
The Washington Post reported that Trump's campaign advisors stand behind the attacks as a way to energize his voting base before next year's election.
The Democrats who want to challenge President Trump will likely have a lot to say about the tweets starting tonight. It's the first of 2 nights of presidential debates happening in Detroit. 10 candidates will be on stage each night. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg will be part of tonight's debate, along with 2 other frontrunners, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. The other 2 of the top 5 Democrats right now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, will be part of tomorrow night's debate. Back here at home, strangers passing by may have helped save the lives of 3 children in Kokomo in 2 separate incidents. In both cases, kids were left locked inside of hot cars. Officers were called to a shopping area on East Boulevard Street Saturday afternoon after people called police to report an infant left in a car. One of the officers broke a window and pulled out the 5-month-old child. Police arrested 1 person for child neglect. That same day, Good Samaritans reported 2 kids left in a car in a shopping area on Markland Avenue. The kids in that case were 2 and 8 years old. Police arrested 2 people in that incident.
Whipping winds caused a tree to fall on a house on the west side, according to firefighters. Crews were called out to a home on Delray Drive, east of Girls School Road and Morris Street around 4 o'clock Monday afternoon. They say 3 people and several pets were inside the home at the time. Luckily, we can tell you no one was hurt, but firefighters say that home was badly damaged. And Todd, yesterday, those winds really picked up in the afternoon as that storm front came through.
Yeah, they gusted. Nothing severe there, but yeah, we had the strong winds, we had the heavy rainfall and some lightning, and we're still dealing with what's left over from that in the sense that it's still very muggy out there. You see your view is restricted here as you kind of see some of these lights as you look from downtown to the north, and so we still have the clouds and we still have a few isolated downpours out there as well. And the conditions are very muggy. The temperature's at 70 degrees, the dew point's at 69. With those two numbers so close to each other, that means the air is almost completely saturated. That's why we had that humidity at 97% here this morning. But as the sun comes up, we'll start to thin the clouds out just a little bit, and that's good and it's bad, right? It brings you some sunshine, but it also, as we get some of that sunshine, will help to flare up some additional downpours, I think, off and on throughout the day today. 68 in Lafayette, 71 in Bloomington. Richmond, you're at 68 degrees, 70 right now from Tipton up into the areas of Kokomo as well as Peru. So here's the heavy rainfall, or the heaviest that we have out there right now, and some lightning as well, pushing into Richmond, down to the south towards Connorsville, back towards Louisville. There's a heavy downpour, but by far the heaviest of the rain is just getting ready now to push into Fountain City as well as Richmond. Then this system will continue to push off into portions of the Dayton area off towards our east. Liberty, some heavy rainfall, and then to the north there's a few spotty showers in and around Jay County and the Portland area, but those two will be heading into Ohio. So those are kind of the only ball game we have in town right now. But again, as you notice back off to the west, the skies are clearing, the sun comes up. I do think that there's enough instability around with this front just lingering off to our east that we will be able to flare up some additional spotty downpours. Now everything will be very, very spotty. So some of you, not a drop of rainfall here throughout the day today. But where it does rain, it's going to come down quite heavy across the area. And by the time we get to the evening hours, I do think that front pushes far enough off to the east, or moves far enough off to the east, that we take most of the rain out of the forecast. So today is definitely not a washout, but we just will have to maintain the chance of a spotty storm or two with temperatures that will be in the 80s this evening. The Indians are in town, 7:05 first pitch. At this point, we'll probably be in great shape. No issues for that ball game. Temperatures that will be in the 80s, falling into the 70s. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, much lower humidity, high temperatures in the low 80s, so a little bit below the normal high of 84. But by the end of the week, we're back above normal with mostly sunny skies, and that sunshine continues into the weekend with highs that'll be in the mid 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here's a look right now at traffic on the northeast side of town. This is I-465 and US 36. You can see traffic in this area near Pendleton Pike is moving smoothly, both northbound and southbound. No issues here to slow you down, but let's take a look at our map right now and show you the closures to watch out for. Just a reminder, I-70 closed here to our southwest. Give yourself extra time because the detour routes can get congested.
The Indiana Fever's Erica Wheeler is still relishing the spotlight she stole this past weekend. Wheeler became the first undrafted player ever to win MVP of the WNBA's All-Star Game. She made her first 6 three-point attempts on her way to a game-high 25 points. Now she's trying to take it all in.
It was a surreal moment. Like, I can't give you no emotion. I can't give you no words. It was unreal. I'm still kind of in shock. I'm still like trying to process it because I did it in front of an amazing crowd. So it's super unreal for me.
A lot of people still talking about the emotional post-game interview she gave as well. She talked about gaining inspiration from her mother, who died of cancer while Wheeler was still in college. Just a great story, and one that will continue to play out in the second half of the Fever season. A great example of never, ever giving up, Warren.
Well, the other team in town is also making some moves. The Pacers adding another piece to the next season puzzle by signing free agent guard TJ McConnell. McConnell averaged almost 6.5 points in a game coming off the bench for the 76ers last month. He'll open next season as the third point guard on the Pacers roster behind starter Malcolm Brogdon and backup Aaron Holiday. Well, he was a killer and a thief and is one of the most famous people buried in Crown Hill Cemetery today, but soon he will rise from the grave. Coming up at 5:30, why a family member wants to bring him back above ground.
She was born to flex, diamonds on her neck. Now she's boarding the jet and is landing in Indy soon. Up next, who is taking over the Fieldhouse just a few hours from now? Obviously not me. We'll tell you who coming up next.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. All right, let's take a look at traffic right now. We do have a live NDOT traffic camera that we want to show you here. Overall, no crashes to report around the metro area. This is on the northeast side. We just have that major I-70 closure. Could slow you down as we get into the rush hour. We'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
And it should be.
I got a fly, I need a jet. I need room for my legs. I got a baby, I need some money. Yeah, I need cheese for my egg.
It is time. Cardi B will be in the house tonight for a show at Baker's Life Fieldhouse, getting more big fat paychecks to pay her big fat bills. The woman who has taken over the hip hop world is making her first visit to Indy in almost 3 years. It has been a banner year for Cardi. Back in February, she became the first solo woman to win a Grammy for the best rap album. Now, the show is technically sold out, but verified resale tickets will set you back up to $1,600. So if you're going to make last-minute plans to go, well, we hope you saved up some cold, hard cash.
Yeah, hard pass.
You know what, Thorne? Everyone has their differences.
Todd, you want to go to that one?
You know what? I'm not going to. You know what? You like Bruce Springsteen. You like country music. I prefer music I could dance to, like Cardi B. So that's the beautiful part of our country. You can like whatever music you want. Let's take a look at the forecast.
All right, you can like your forecast.
I'm just protecting you guys from Cardi B coming after you both.
Big fan.
I'm not really too worried. All right, some spotty storms possible here throughout the day today. They should be isolated, and they're certainly not going to be what we'll call numerous, but there will be some out there, I think, off and on throughout the day today. 84, but once we get past today, really a nice stretch of weather starting tomorrow. That takes us all the way into the weekend. And you notice high temperatures. They'll be a tick or two above or below normal, depending on what day it is. Our average high is 84 degrees, so we're below that tomorrow, right at that on Thursday, then a couple degrees above it for the weekend. But all in all, very summer-like weekend for us with the temperatures in the mid-80s, the sunshine. Start making those plans now. Next chance of rain after today will not be on until Monday, and even then, it's just a chance of a few spotty storms. The time now is 5:27. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Stay with us. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Visit IndianaStateFair.com. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
An Indiana business owner is hoping to curb underage vaping.
Now at 5:30, the plan that has him turning away some of his customers. Plus, more students are headed back to the classroom this week.
That's right. Working for you, we're taking a look at tips you need to make sure you know to get your student to school safely. We do want to talk about your forecast, though, as the kids are heading back to the bus stop, and it's starting out a little bit foggy, it looks like, from our camera here.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of rainfall, too, in some places this morning, Todd. So the kids might just want to have that rain jacket handy.
Yeah, everybody's dealing with these warm and muggy conditions. Only some people are going to be dealing with rain here this morning, but where it is falling, it is coming down quite heavy, and that is in the Richmond area right now, and just to the north up 27 to Fountain City, then to the south to Liberty, some heavy rain, quite a bit of lightning as well, then back towards Cambridge City, Connorsville, some isolated downpours. But really, that's just about it as far as the rainfall goes here this morning. However, once the sun comes up, I do think with the moisture that we have around and the added instability that the sun will add, that we will flare up some isolated downpours off and on throughout the day today until this front moves far enough off towards the east. So our rain chances aren't completely zero here throughout the day today, but definitely not going to be dealing with any widespread rain. That is the good news. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s here this morning as we work our way throughout the day today. We're talking about seasonal temperatures getting up to right around 84 degrees with some sunshine mixing in. But again, don't be shocked, though, if you have a quick passing downpour at some point throughout the day today.
All right, Todd, thank you so much for taking a look at traffic right now. I-69 here at State Road 9. A heads up if you travel through the Pendleton area on I-69. We have long-term road construction in that area, and you can see the orange barrels out there and the flashing signboards. So just use caution if you're traveling both northbound and southbound in this area. Taking a look at our map, we've been showing you some closures this morning, but right now I want to head to the south side and show you some drive times as you're heading northbound on State Road 37 from Smith Valley Road in Greenwood to the I-465 ramps. No delays, a quick 8-minute drive. Over here on northbound I-65 from County Line Road all the way up to I-70 at the North Split in downtown. Traffic's moving smoothly. It is a 12-minute commute. So let's take a look here at the North Split. This is our INDOT traffic camera in that area. You can see everything here is open and moving up to speed. Just a heads up with that I-70 closure, though, the interstate traffic could get a little busy on I-65, so just use extra caution and give yourself some more time if you're heading out near rush hour.
A local business is turning down some of its customers with the hopes of curbing underage teen vaping. The sign on the door at Fog Foundry Vape Lounge reads, "Must be 19 to enter." The legal age to buy e-cigarettes is 18. Vaping products serve as an alternative to cigarette smoking. They don't have tobacco, but they do contain nicotine. Fog Foundry owner Chad Myers says he's concerned about others in the industry making a profit off of kids who are still in high school.
18-year-olds are definitely more of a connection because if you look, how many 18-year-olds do you know that are seniors in high school? There's several. There's very few 19-year-olds that are in high school.
Last month, a bill raising the age to buy e-cigarettes to 21 nationwide passed out of committee. The bill is sponsored by Indiana Senator Todd Young. It would also raise the age for purchasing tobacco products to 21.
At 5:33, a company led by a West Side native will call Indianapolis home. eHealth Incorporated announcing plans to establish new technology and operations headquarters near I-465 and Keystone Parkway. Now, the plan also includes employing 500 people by the end of 2023. eHealth is a private online health insurance exchange. The company started back in 1997, led by Scott Flanders.
I come from Indiana, as I said. I built a business here earlier in my career. And one thing I know about Hoosiers, if you treat them well, they'll be loyal. And we believe that we will have the strongest set of tenured sales agents in the eHealth system.
The Indiana Economic Development Corporation offered eHealth around $11 million in conditional tax credits and $200,000 in training grants based on the company's creation of jobs.
As we make our way back into the school year, state police want to make sure your kids start off the year right.
That's right. They have some safety tips for students if they're walking to school. Our Erin Lish joining us live in the studio this morning. And Erin, what do parents need to remind their kids?
Well, you know, there's some big responsibilities when you are walking to school. So there's some things that you really need to know. So state police say make sure that they're getting out the door early enough to get to school 10 minutes before the bell rings so that they're not running to school, and they can let you know they made it okay. Never let them use shortcuts. Make sure they go the same route and use public sidewalks and go over those signals and signs they must know, and tell them to always look both ways and never run across those intersections. Another big thing is if you possibly have them walk with friends, police say strength in numbers is critical. Never talk to strangers, and make sure that they know to make a distance between them and anyone they don't know that's trying to talk to them. And if there ever is a problem, make sure that they know to contact you and their teacher, and to never go to or inside a stranger's car. And these might be no-brainers to you and me, but kids need this reminder as they go back to school. We'll have more about school bus stop safety in the next half hour. Lauren and Meredith.
Erin, thank you. Getting the kids ready for the school year is a major cost for many families.
A new study shows that families are expected to spend record amounts on back-to-school shopping this year. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, you have some tips for parents looking to save.
That's right. So the average household with K through 12 children is expected to spend just under $700 this year on back-to-school shopping. But that doesn't mean you have to spend that much money. There are a lot of ways that you can save when it comes to back-to-school supplies. Start by taking stock of what you already have. Check closets and old book bags. There may be some folders that are still good as new. Make a list of items you need so that you stay focused and on track. Try checking garage sales and thrift stores first. The dollar store also has some good deals on basics like notebooks and pencils. Follow stores on Twitter and Facebook. Many post about sales and deals leading up to the school year. And when you go shopping, try to go alone and leave your kids at home. While you can find those cheapest items, they might try to get you off track and get those trendy ones instead. This way you can stay focused. Now, if you can hold off on buying some new clothes before the school year starts, Consumer Reports show prices typically go down in September after the big rush of clothes shopping is over. Now, there are also several back-to-school events where they are giving away backpacks and some of those basic items that you need for the school year across central Indiana. And you can receive a lot of the items that you need for free at some of those. And we have several of those posted on our website. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. An Indiana school district says a busy highway is too dangerous for its school buses. Vigo County Schools in Terre Haute announcing on Monday its buses are no longer allowed to travel on I-70. School leaders say a significant number of crashes between Indianapolis and the Illinois state line is cause for concern. Under the new policy, athletic teams will still use I-465 and I-65 to get to events around the Circle City. It is 5:37. The Catholic Church in Indianapolis facing yet another lawsuit.
A former guidance counselor at Roncalli High School is suing the Archdiocese and the school. Lynn Starkey claims she was discriminated against because of her sexual orientation and that she faced a hostile work environment. Starkey is married to a woman, which goes against the teachings of the Catholic Church. Her lawsuit also claims both the Archdiocese and Roncalli retaliated against her after she filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Well, the Archdiocese of Indianapolis released a statement in response saying, in part, quote, Ms. Starkey signed a contract acknowledging her role as a leader and committing to promote Catholic teaching, including the traditional Catholic teaching on marriage. She knowingly violated the contract by entering into a same-sex civil union, end quote. Well, earlier this month, a former Cathedral High School teacher who was fired because he's married to a man filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese as well.
Here's your reminder as a Hoosier tradition gets underway later this week. The Indiana State Fair starts its 17-day run on Friday, which happens to be RTV6 Day at the fair. We'll be broadcasting live from the fair throughout the day, starting here on Good Morning Indiana. We'll share with you the sights and sounds of opening day and the food, of course, which includes Band Day. Plus, we'll bring you the stories of the people who are the backbone of the fair, the farmers. Again, join us for RTV6 Day at the fair on Friday. And Todd, we are expected to have some good weather that day.
Yeah, the whole opening weekend of the fair looks terrific with lots of sunshine and temperatures that you would expect this time of year. That will be in the mid-80s across the area. So it's looking great for the start of the fair today. You know, we had to put the humidity scale here, kind of getting sticky into the very muggy category, at least especially this morning. There's a lot of humidity around. And with that humidity, there will be some storm chances throughout the day today. They're not great. They're just going to be about a 10 to 20% chance of an isolated downpour flaring up, especially during the peak heating of the day during the afternoon hours. Most of us probably remain dry. If you do see one of these downpours, it's going to come down very quick and then move on just as quick. So it's not going to keep you indoors the entire day, but just know that they will be possible, especially if you're going to be out and about for an extended period of time. Probably not the best pool day today. Certainly warm enough with temperatures that'll be climbing into the mid-80s, but we'll kind of have that hazy sunshine out there. There are better pool days ahead and better weather for just about anything for that matter. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Democratic presidential candidates are gearing up for round 2 of debates starting tonight. After the break, how a new poll ranks the candidates heading into the night.
And we're keeping a close eye on traffic for your morning drive. No crashes around the metro area to slow you down, so that is good news. This is a live look at I-70 near Monrovia. You know we have construction in this area. It is long term, so just use caution. You can see most of the travel lanes in this spot are open though right now, so that is good news. Again, we'll be right back after the break with more news, weather, and traffic coming right up.
Stay at Trelegy.com.
The body of an infamous bank robber will be exhumed from his burial place in central Indiana. John Dillinger's gravesite is at Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. The State Department of Health approved a request from Dillinger's nephew to disinter the body. We're working to learn the reason behind that request. Dillinger was born in Indianapolis in 1903. He and his gang allegedly robbed more than 20 banks and 4 police stations in the early 1930s. Police shot him to death in Chicago in 1934.
It is 5:44. The stage is set for the second round of Democratic presidential debates, once again bringing 20 candidates together over the course of 2 different nights. Now beginning tonight, the second wave of debates in the quest for the Democratic presidential nomination. The new Quinnipiac poll shows Vice President Joe Biden expanding on his lead now with 34% of the support, up from 22% at the beginning of the month. One area where those proposed policies will likely get a lot of focus is health care. Senator Kamala Harris releasing her new plan.
Under our Medicare for All plan, there will be no more co-pays. There will be no more deductibles.
Harris has already been met with criticism for the plan's details. Now, Biden campaign saying that she's committing to unraveling the Affordable Care Act, while Senator Sanders' campaign manager says, call it whatever you want, but you can't call this a plan for Medicare for all.
The measles outbreak in the United States isn't slowing down. The number of cases is of now reaching about 1,164. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's an increase of 16 cases from the previous week. Cases have been confirmed in 30 states now. The CDC says measles can be prevented with the MMR vaccine, and it is safe and effective. More than 500,000 low-income students could lose free meals due to proposed changes to the nation's food stamp program. That's according to Democratic Congressman Bobby Scott of Virginia, who chairs the House Committee on Education and Labor. Scott also says the Department of Agriculture concealed data that revealed the cuts to free student meals. In a letter to Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue, Scott says the impact on school meal eligibility wasn't included in the administration's proposal for revising who qualifies for food stamps. Under the proposed changes, more than 3 million people could lose SNAP benefits. At 5:46, we have another great day on deck in the weather department, Todd.
Yeah, it's a decent day for us. Certainly going to be warm and a little on the muggy side, and there are some small rain chances throughout the day today, but I guess it could be by far worse. One thing I do want to point out is last week, our average high was 85 degrees. So we've kind of plateaued now as far as the average high goes for the year. It's going to start to continue to go down from this point forward. But today's going to be a seasonal day with my forecast at 84 degrees for your average high. But here's the view this morning from the top of the Salesforce Tower, looking off towards the north. And if you've been with us here throughout the morning, these clouds move through pretty quickly, but kind of locked in right now. And there could be a little bit of patchy fog in some of your neighborhoods across the area. 68 in Kokomo, 72 in Bloomington, 70 right now is the current temperature in Indianapolis. So it's warm, it's kind of muggy. As far as the rain goes, we're finally starting to see it come to an end. The exception is for those of you over in Wayne County and then eventually down towards the Liberty area and the Connorsville area as we work in Fayette County. Fountain City to Richmond, some downpours right now. The heaviest of the rain, though, just south of Richmond and I-70 as you work your way down US 27 towards the Liberty area and then back towards Connorsville. We're dealing with a lightning strike and a little bit of heavy rain, but that's just about it as far as the rainfall goes here this morning. In fact, as you look back off to the west, it shows the skies are clear, but what this satellite picture is not showing you is all the low-level moisture that we have out there, and that's what's going to take a little while to burn off today once the sun comes up. So we have to be patient to burn that off, and then the good news is we get into some sunshine throughout the day today, but there's still enough instability around in this atmosphere to flare up some isolated downpours across parts of the area, especially south and east of Indianapolis. So throughout the day today, again, our rain chances aren't zero. It's probably about a 20% chance of an isolated downpour or two, but just don't be shocked if you see it. But for the most part, it's partly to mostly cloudy today with temperatures that will be topping off right around 84 degrees by 3 p.m. This evening, though, as the sun sets, the rain chances come out of the forecast and temperatures fall back down into the 70s. Then overnight tonight, clear skies, a little bit of humidity around still with temperatures that'll be falling back down into the 50s and 60s across the area. So it does become pretty comfortable overnight tonight. And then it's a great day tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, 82 degrees. And then we just continue this nice stretch of weather throughout this entire week with seasonable temperatures. Lots of sunshine all the way through the weekend. The next chance of rain after today does not arrive in this forecast until Monday. The time now is 5:49. Let's get another update on the roadways.
All right, Todd, here is a look at our traffic now map, taking you up here to this closure to our northeast. Eastbound US 36 between State Road 234 and State Road 9. You see the red there. Avoid that spot for the next week or so. We also have this ramp work northbound I-465 to westbound I-865 closed through August 25th. Use caution in that area. And we also have this closure here, I-70, so you'll need to use I-465 and I-65 to reroute. That will reopen on August 5th. Now let's take a live look at traffic right now on the north side. This is an area where we have an ongoing construction project, but right now all travel lanes are open. I-465 and Ditch Road to our north Traffic here is picking up early this morning. So let's take a turn down to the south side. I-65 near Edgewood Avenue. You can see here just south of 465. Everything is moving smoothly. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays that might slow you down.
Are you a fan of the show Friends? Ahead in our Trending 6, why a new store could soon be added to your bucket list. That's next.
So order yours while you can.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. And this is a live look on the south side, part of that detour route you'll need to take if you're avoiding I-70. This is I-465 near Madison Avenue. Traffic in this area is still moving smoothly, both eastbound and westbound, but we'll continue to keep a close eye on things and keep you updated.
Before you head out the door, however, it is time for the Trending 6.
These are some of the stories that everyone is sharing online today that you'll want to know about. TSA officials out in Baltimore discovering a missile launcher inside of a man's luggage. They called airport police, who tracked down the passenger. The Texas man told officials he was a service member traveling home from Kuwait. He apparently wanted to keep the missile launcher as a souvenir, but military weapons are not allowed in checked or carried on bags.
A professional surfer bitten by a shark near Jacksonville, Florida over the weekend, choosing not to get medical attention. Instead, 23-year-old Frank O'Rourke decided to go heal his wounds at a nearby bar. A beach spokesperson says attacks in that area are rare. O'Rourke says he's grateful to have survived the attack with minor injuries, and he's looking forward to getting back into the water. He just wanted to make sure those healed into cool scars.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Chicks dig scars.
Keep it open. All right. Well, a newly opened restaurant in South Africa is proving that bugs are tasty. Okay, the Insect Experience is the country's first bug-only restaurant, serving treats like black soldier fly larva croquettes and bug-based ice cream. The pop-up serves dishes made primarily of insects, and the chef says the goal is to make the meals visually pleasing for everybody. Rest assured, all the insects are locally sourced, and some are even considered superfoods.
Let's not forget, Todd and I ate bugs on air not too long ago. Today is National Cheesecake Day. The simple dessert has several variations, including the New York style, the Philadelphia style, and even a Chicago style. But none of those were the first. Apparently, it was the Greek style that started it all. An ancient Greek physician apparently wrote a book on the art of making cheesecakes thousands of years ago.
I didn't know there were so many different types.
I know.
Very good. Well, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, is guest editing the September issue of British Vogue. The issue will include 15 top female change makers on the cover. The publication will also feature an interview with the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, and Prince Harry's interview with anthropologist Jane Goodall. Markle is the first person to be asked to guest edit Vogue's popular September issue.
If you're a Friends fan, then you'll be excited for this. A pop-up experience themed around the beloved sitcom will open in New York City in conjunction with the 25th anniversary of its 1994 September premiere. The shop will offer fans the opportunity to explore the show and capture photos with set recreations, props, and costumes from the series. It'll run from September 7th through October 6th in New York City. Todd, no word if Jennifer Aniston will be there making an appearance. She's single, you know, so maybe you had to take some time off and go hang out there and meet her.
Maybe. We'll have to book a flight, see what happens, right? All right, outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 70s across the area. As far as rain, that is starting to move out. Some downpours still near Richmond, as well as Liberty back towards the Connorsville area, but everybody else is dry here this morning. It is warm and it is muggy. We're going up to 84 this afternoon, with the clouds starting to thin as the morning goes on, but there will be some spotty storms off and on throughout the day today. We are not looking at a lot in the way of rainfall, and certainly nothing that's going to be widespread, just going to be these storms that flare up during the peak heating of the day because we have some instability around. So you may want to have the umbrella in the car just in case you encounter one of these downpours if you're out running some errands. But again, nothing widespread. And once we get past today, a beautiful stretch of weather. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues here in just a few minutes. The time right now is 5:57.